Hey everybody, MntDewMania here. Welcome back to Friday. And if you have been with me any amount of time, you know that Friday is Rant Day. That's right. And we are nearing the end of season 4 of the RedNeck Rants. And today's letter is a tricky one because it is very hard to catch a cool word with the letter X. But I fished around in the handy dandy dictionary and I found one, and it actually fits in with something that's been going on lately in our lives. X is for Xenophile. And the handy dandy dictionary says that it is a person who is attracted to foreign peoples, cultures, or customs. And if you will go back and look at season 3, X was for xenophobia, which is the exact opposite of that you fear foreign peoples, cultures, or customs. Now, you're asking yourself already, okay, what does that have to do with what's going on in the world today? Why do you think it's relevant? Or, how many of you, if you're from the USA, said for either whoever you were for, if so and so gets into office, I'm moving to such and such? Well, apparently a lot of people said it because when Mr. Trump got elected, the Canadian one of the Canadian sites crashed. Apparently, that's what they were reporting online. I don't know if it's true. But that was one of the things that was said, that some of the Canadian sites actually crashed. People wanting to know how to immigrate there, move there. And I'm thinking to myself, because I admit it, I said it. I own it. I own anything that comes out of my mouth. I said it. But I'm not here to get into a political battle. But it really made me curious when I heard. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to do research and see if I can find out. But what does it take? Because a lot of people are xenophobic. They do not trust other cultures. If it is not just paper doll cut and exactly like them, they don't trust it. So that made me really wonder, what does it take for people to be interested in another culture? And to what extent will people go? And and I started doing some reading on websites and such, and there are actual people who have given up. And I'm not talking just Americans. I'm talking all over the world. Men, women, black, white, purple. It doesn't matter. Different cultures. They have given up living in their country, not because they felt they were in danger. Not because they felt that they were oppressed or anything like that. Not that they hated where they were, but they were so fascinated by another culture and customs of another country, they gave up their citizenship to go live in that country. Now, and gave up good jobs, and some of them had families. Some of them split with their significant other to do this. So that's what got me so fascinated in someone being a xenophile. And then I had to ask myself, okay, would I have really moved to Canada or anywhere else in order to get away and embrace a whole nother culture Because you know just as good as I do, you can go from one side of a country to another, or in my case, you can go from one state to another, and it's a whole nother culture. And I mean, everybody thinks we tend to group people in the same categories. Okay, everybody in the UK is a certain way. Everybody in Germany is a certain way. Everybody in the USA is a certain way because of just we hear our parents talk, we hear friends talk, we see stuff on social media, we see stuff in movies, and we just tend to think of, we get this picture in our head. So, you know, and sometimes it's a scary picture, and we don't want to go to these countries or, be involved in any way just because of the way they are portrayed in the media, you know? But I mean, there are some people that will literally give up their careers, their jobs, their way of life to embrace another culture. I read about one guy. He was like a stockbroker, very well off, and he was in his 40s, and I don't know, he said just one day something clicked. He was tired of it. He was tired of the rat race. He was tired of just always thinking about money, and he was so interested in another culture that he moved there just to practice some of the customs. There was another guy, he couldn't move. He didn't have the money to move to the place he was fascinated with. So he lives that lifestyle here in the U.S. And it just, and he tries to eat that way. He tries to, and I cannot, I don't know, I can't wrap my head around how far would you be willing to go in order to embrace a whole other culture or, customs of whatever country or people that you are so fascinated with. Now, with that being said, I think the thing that I have always been really, really fascinated with would be Victorian England. I am a huge Barbara Cartland fan. Fanatic. I have read literally hundreds of books about that period, about that culture, the customs, the clothing, and I don't know why it fascinates me, but it does. I don't understand. Why am I so fascinated? My God, we've got internet. We've got, you can carry around a computer basically in your pocket on your phone. We've got all these marvelous, wonderful technologies, you know, uh, cable TV and telephones and iPhones and iPads and this and movies. And, why would you give up all that to walk around in huge hoopy dresses and and I don't know. I don't know why it fascinates me so much. Um, Another thing that fascinates me a lot is I don't know if you've ever watched like National Geographic Channel or anything or any kind of thing like that. People who go off the grid, and I am talking completely off the grid. I am talking not like Bear Grylls who goes for a week, and does some cool, amazing things. I'm talking about people that do that 24/7, 365 days a year. Okay? Um, One of my favorite shows is on National Geographic is they follow a guy who in the Olympic Peninsula called Mick Dodge. I find that totally, absolutely fascinating. I'm sure a lot of people have seen like show like Dual Survival. One of the guys, Cody, or whatever his name is. I mean, he lives this way. He's been barefoot for 20 years. Lives in the desert. I mean, he has contact with people. But I'm just saying. I mean, how? I mean, and a lot of them love the simple way of life. Like a lot of them, a couple of guys that I've seen studies on, I mean, documentaries on, they live like Native Americans. They live in teepees or wigwams or, a lot of shows about the last frontier, like Alaska. Living in the Arctic, life below zero, living in the above the Arctic Circle, you know, it like traditional, Inuit Indians. I mean, it fascinates me so much. So I guess my question is, how far it? What first of all, let me answer this. What is another culture that you find fascinating? And I don't mean like just casually, oh, that's really cool that they do that. I mean, like, you know what? If I had the chance, I would do that in a heartbeat. And why? Why do you find it so fascinating? And let's say, just for, discussion purposes, you had the chance right now, somebody said, okay, you find this people, this culture, or these customs so just you're drawn to them, we will make it happen right now. Would you do it? Or is it better to just dream about it in your head? And, me and my husband, when we first got married, we went camping a lot. And I'm talking redneck camping, okay? I'm talking, we took a tarp and a frying pan and our fishing poles, and that was it. I mean, if we didn't catch any fish that day, we didn't eat. We slept on the ground. I mean, I'm talking just absolutely roughing it, as rough as you can get roughing it. But I don't know why we were drawn to it. And we both just find that so, but we loved it. We loved it. And, I mean, there have been, I mean, I'm going to admit this kind of, it's weird, but I'm going to admit it. I almost wish there was a zombie apocalypse so I could survive through it. Now, is that weird or what? I mean, I don't want zombies eating my brain, but there's something in that survival. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that I find so fascinating about those two subjects, about the Victorian era and just like not so much Native Americans, but just like that hunt and gather thing, I don't know. It totally fascinates me. So let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think you are a xenophile? And what custom or people or culture do you find just so fascinating? If you had the chance, you would pack up and go live there, or change your way of life to follow the customs or the culture of what you find so fascinating. How far would you be willing to go? Let me know in the comments. I'm very, very curious. So, guys, we are getting down. We got Y and Z, and we're done with Season 4. And I've already got some good suggestions for Season 5. There's still a lot of slots open. If you want to put forth a suggestion for something for us to talk and chew and rant about, I would be more than willing to look it over. And I will probably take a couple of weeks break between the two seasons. There'll be other videos. Don't worry about that. But this is absolutely so much fun to do. I love doing it. I love just kind of sitting here, fishing here on Vox Populi and just talking about the world. Getting to know each other. And there's some pretty. I see lots of awesome comments, and you get to learn about people. It's totally cool. So I hope you guys are enjoying. And I hope you will stick some comments down there for me. I'm very curious as to what kind of, piques your interest if you are a xenophile. All right. So until next time, guys, this is MntDewMania. This is RedNeck Rants Season 4 here on Vox Populi Diamond, my home away from home. And shout out, as always, to Latin Goddess and Zombie and the staff here for letting us record. It's totally awesome. And catch you guys next time. I am so out of here. Later, guys.